Well, everyone, you join us at the end of our Champions League league phase campaign with qualification already in the bag for us and two other Icelandic teams. But today we'll be looking to see if we can finish in that top half of that playoff spot, maybe sneak into the top eight, but most importantly, ensure that Braither go through. Yes, everybody, welcome to today's episode. We're going up against Newcastle, who are already in the top eight. I think they're pretty much guaranteed to finish there. There's a chance they might miss out, but I think they need a few results to go against them. But before we do get into the episode, if you want to do us a massive favour and drop a like down below and comment whatever you want. Comment what you have for your tea tonight. Let us know how you're getting on. Are you enjoying your saves? Are you excited for FM25? Let's see what's going on. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we do just need to touch back on what happened last season, and that saw us regain the title quite comfortable in the end with HK coming in second. You'll notice that we lost 4 games. 3 of those defeats came in the last 3 games because, once again, all of our players were away on international duty. But thankfully, we already had the league nicely wrapped up by then, so it didn't really matter. Elsewhere, it was Braither who actually took home the cup, the sort of like, the main sort of trophy that we see during the season. This is the one which gets you European football. They ended up coming third, so they basically got the same prize that they did for winning the cup. After we got knocked out at the quarterfinals by HK in what I would say we were a little bit unlucky really. But just a little quick one, Sylvester Nygaard, who did score in that final for Braither, has actually left to go and join Genoa on a free of honestly, he's gone from us to Braither. He joined Braither for not much money at all, and now he's going to Genoa on a free transfer. Fair play to him. And it will be interesting to see what that means for Braither, because he has been very, very good for them since he joined. But yeah, this is the game we had against HK in the quarterfinals. And yeah, I felt we were a little bit unlucky, really, a little bit hard done by to not get something out of this game. But what can you do? This happens. Meanwhile, as I said, we are in the Champions League and we are already going through to the next round. And that's because we got past Basel in the second round. Legia Warsaw quite comfortably in the end. I know we lost the away leg 3-1, but we did rotate quite a bit for this team, to be honest with you, for this game. And yeah, we won 6-3 overall. Then we beat Freiburg 3-0 across both legs to see us through, where we then played Arsenal and lost 4-1 away from home, quite comfortably beaten in the end. The goal from Umbala was literally nothing more than the consolation, it seems, and Umbala has been a bit absent really. You'll see a couple of names, well, one name here that you won't recognise. We'll touch on Moyes Vlad in a minute. But yeah, then we beat Anderlecht 3-2, drew 1-0 with Marseille after taking the lead, conceded quite late on. Lost narrowly 1-0 at home to Real Madrid. I think they only go okay from a set piece in the end. Vlad again rocking in with the goals against Young Boys, and once again rocking in with the goals against Lech Poznan. Interestingly enough, we were actually losing this game 2-1 at the 69th minute, and then went on a mad one right at the end to win 5-2. And then we went and beat Lyon at 3-2. I was going to say comfortable in the end, but it wasn't, to be fair. When we went 3-1 up, I thought this was it, great, job done. And then they pulled one back right at the end, and I was getting a little bit twitchy. Elsewhere in the Champions League, it was Braither who went straight in at the league phase, and they kicked things off with a fantastic 2-1 win away at home against PSV, before then losing 2-0, 2-0 and 2-0 in a row to Villarreal, Man City and Inter. But then they managed to bounce back with a 3-1 win over Hibernian and a 3-0 win at home to Galatasaray. They have just been smashed 5-0 by United and 2-0 by Benfica, but that 9 points that they're sat on, I'm hoping is going to be enough. Meanwhile, HK are already through to the next round in the Europa League with an outside shot, realistically, of getting into the top 8. It's going to be difficult for them. They have got goal difference in their favour, but there are just a couple of other teams who could sneak in ahead of them. But they are playing, let's see who they're playing in this next round. They are playing Nice, who are down here. So who knows, if they can get a result away at Nice, maybe they'll have a chance. But realistically, I think the best we can hope for is that they get in the top half of the playoffs. And they have got here after blitzing past Cracovia, and what's that, 10-3, and then getting past Midtjylland 4-2, Westerlo 4-2, Salzburg, then they was their first opponent in the actual league phase, and Donetsk Streda putting 5 goals past those two. They then lost to Sevilla away from home 2-1, which I think is no real shame in, before losing 1-0 to Bordeaux. Topical, obviously they're now facing a lot of difficulties in real life. And then they went on and beaten Partizan 5-1 at home. Kaiko Rizespor 2-0 away. and they've just drawn 0-0 with Trabzonspor, and obviously they've got that game against Nice. Meanwhile, the Conference League was a mixed bag, with HEARTBREAK coming in 7th, so they go straight through to the round of 16, I think it is, and Vala just about missing out on goal difference, even though they beat Celtic 3-2 away from home on the last match day. It just wasn't enough. And I mean, HEARTBREAK really had to go through it the hard way, really, starting off in the Europa Conference League second qualifying round, knowing that any slip-up was going to cost them, really. And it looked like after the first game, they were already dead in the water, but that late Wampadilla goal in the against Slovan Liberec away from home really gave them something to hold on to, and then they got the job done back at home in Iceland with a nice 2-0 win. Then flew past SK and St. Pölten from Austria. Dynamo Kiev winning 3-1 away from home was absolutely fantastic before getting the job done back at home. And then, as you can see, 3-1 win away at Levski Sofia, 5-0 win at home against Westerlo, and then draws against Twente, Stankom, and then beating Nomakaliu 4-1 before they finished off with a 0-0 draw against Apollon Limassol. Interesting to note, Daniel Shellhead here, Wampadilla, on loan from us, so they've been chipping in quite nicely. Daniel Shellhead is someone we're actually really quite hopeful could do a job for us. This 6'8" monster of a 19-year-old, I'm hoping can turn into a real beast when he comes back to us. I think he is someone who I am going to look to sort of bring back when he's ready. Another player on loan at HEARTBREAK from us is Ole Christian Hatlahol, and he has done pretty well for them to play in the Conference League, and he is developing really, really nicely. And we will just touch quickly on Vala, who have finally actually gone professional as well, which is really, really good. So hopefully they will start reaping the benefits of that, although they obviously finished outside of the European places this season. So they will not be competing next season in Europe, sadly for them. But hopefully they've got the grounds to do so now. They lost 2-1 across 2 legs against Club Brugge in the Europa League playoff first and second legs. Disappointment for them before they then lost the Boda. But they did actually then get a win against Suteshka Niksic 5-3. And then a couple of unlucky results here, I felt. Rapid Wien and Copenhagen only losing by 1 goal. Especially when you look at the fact that Copenhagen scored in the 90th minute. Really, really unlucky. And they did actually take the lead against Rapid Wien as well. And then they lost to Vorskla, which I think they'll be really, really disappointed with. And then, as I said, they did get that 3-2 win away at Celtic. But like I said, just wasn't enough. Now I've got to try and remember who we touched on in terms of transfers. I feel like we touched on Vladimir Basic, who is actually out on loan at Zagreb at the moment. Basically, we brought him in with the intention of being a loan farm player, but no Icelandic teams came in for him. But then Zagreb put a loan bid down on him with an optional purchase fee, which would see it reach about 2.5 mil, which when we signed him for free seemed a really good bit of business. Few loan farm players who come in, Catalin Pene come in from Romania. He's out on loan already. We haven't been able to get out some of these guys on loan. They're a little bit too young yet. The big signing that we made, probably the biggest signing I think in terms of value, was Mahmoud Radwan, who came in from Pyramids out in Egypt. Basically real upgrade in quality in that midfield area, in that box-to-box role, which we have occasionally switched to a Carolero. Starting to really bump up on the wages, which I guess is just a sign of where we're at now. We need to sign better players, so we're having to pay them more. It is what it is. Thankfully, the finances are allowing for it. And then after Radwan, who else did we sign? Robert Christea, I think he's out on loan, isn't he? Yeah, he's out on loan at Starnen, I believe. Doing all right. Hopefully he will stay out there, I think. We played a decent amount for him for what's essentially a loan farm player, but it's kind of worth it at the moment if we can really help like clubs like Starnen. The main one, though, that we're going to touch on after you did see him before was Vlad Paul. Absolute steal, I feel, from Voluntari. Really, really good. His determination when we signed him was 20, so it's a bit annoying that dipped, but hopefully the perfectionist in me will see that come back up to 20. And if he can just work on his work rate, fantastic. But he's been absolutely lethal in the Champions League. 9 goals in, 11 appearances. He's just been phenomenal. And yeah, we're really happy with him. And he is, at the age of 19, if we can keep him. We are trying to get to a point where we're playing a little bit more hardball now, in terms of we're trying to move away from being a selling club quite so much, and hopefully going to start keeping some of these guys. Pedro Guerrero we brought in. I think I touched on him, I can't remember, but he is basically backup for Ribeiro, who we signed in the end from Sporting. He's been fantastic since he came in on loan, and we made sense to make that move permanent. Bojan Spashevic is someone who is hopefully going to facilitate our transition to our new tactic going forward. Fantastic looking wing back. We're training him to play on that inverted wing back on support role because his passing has already got, and his vision have got sort of decent groundwork, I feel, for that to work. So yeah, they were the main sort of ins, really, I feel. As you can see, there's a lot, but a lot of them are sort of loan farm players. You'll notice Ariel Valdez coming in on loan from Newcastle, and that's because he did move to Newcastle for $6.5 million. Bit disappointed, would have liked to have got a little bit more for him, but we're not in a position to play too much hardball with him because he was getting a bit annoyed, to be honest with you. Fred Ongoy, I can't remember if we touched on him leaving. I don't think we had. We did finally move him on to Heerenveen. Just about managed to recoup what we signed him for, but he only had about a year left on his deal, and we didn't see a future for him, so we moved him on. Abdulaziz Al Salami was a really annoying move. Basically, clubs were bidding for him. He was becoming increasingly unsettled. We were getting players saying we should let him go. We had signed him for free. He had been good for us. We were disappointed that we lost him at this stage, especially for such a small amount of money. But he's got 82 million transfer value, and we do have a percentage of that, which will come to us, so we can probably cash that in at some point for a really, really good chunk of money. Namdi, I don't think we touched on him. He left. Didn't get anywhere near as much money as we wanted for him, given his sort of English homegrown status, but he went to Falkirk for 625k, and again, he was a free signing. Mads Lawson was the main sale that we did. He went to Liverpool for 11.75 mil, I think it was in total, and we have got a percentage of that. Rakic, the sort of biannually transfer window, clubs bidding for Rakic, him becoming unsettled that we're not entertaining the prospect of selling him, came round again, and with Ribeiro coming in, we just thought, you know what, let's just sell him now, and just, it's going to keep happening. Let's just get him gone and get the money for him, and we did make a bit of a profit on him. Again, we've got a percentage of that. Trying to think who else was the main sales. Don't think there were any. We managed to get Moja out into Braither permanently. Oscar Aguirre, we were fighting off bids for him in the end after we couldn't get him back out on loan, and he was becoming increasingly unhappy that we were rejecting bids from these bigger clubs. So again, we just made the decision to sell him, especially with us bringing in Spashevic as well. We just didn't really need him anymore. Jorge Cardinale made a slight loss on him, but again, he didn't have long left on his deal. He was the striker who we'd managed to sort of loan farm out a couple of times, mainly to Fram, and he was never going to be good enough for us, so we made a slight loss on him in the end, but it is what it is. Hector Barrios was another player who left as well, actually. Just, again, struggling to sort of permanently fit him in. We made a loss on him, and then with Ribeiro and with Guerrero joining, we were like, you know what, let's just cut our losses and get a bit of money while we can. But what that progress in Europe means this season is we're on course for, well, probably going to be our best season by the time all is said and done, really. Our best season is 13.25, and we're on 12.5 currently. That is going to see us at least go up to 8th above Turkey, but who knows, we might even be able to close that gap even further to the Netherlands in 7th, and that would be absolutely incredible. Because we are losing a decent season this year, so it's important that we've really stepped up and surpassed that, really, so that we're not going to suffer a bit of a drop back. Now, the team today for Newcastle is going to be Spashevic and Tuchin, Bakker Hansen and Ribeiro all at the back. Spashevic has been a bit more solid in games compared to Andreas Sorio. We've seen a little bit more tightened together at the back, I think, with him there. Osorio is good to bring on. He offers us, a really good outlet going forward. As we said, Mbala not really done much at all after that goal against Arsenal, which was a bit of a gimme, really. So we're going with Lerva and Renali in the middle. That is because Radwan is away at AFCON duty, so it would probably have been Hunt there and then Renali in behind the two strikers. Hunt is playing as that BBM. He's been fantastic, to be fair, the 18-year-old. He's been really, really good. We signed him permanently from Boda. Mahadzic has been incredible. The free signing we brought in from Genoa. He has been so good. Different gravy, different class in that number 6 slot there, which, like I said, has seen us switch to a deep line playmaker role. We'll go with Wallen and Vlad Paul up front. Suarez is just coming back from injury. Obviously, we've lost Valdez. And we got Ormerson on the bench, who, don't get me wrong, is a decent striker. He's just come back from a sort of a bit of a poor loan spell at Keflavik, really, after he stayed there for a second season. Second spell was nowhere near as good, and they didn't want to renew. Tufedzic is unhappy that we rejected bids from Liverpool, Inter, etc. He's developed quite nicely, considering he's still only 19, and I'm kind of keeping him around because I think he could actually potentially be a good player for us going forward. And certainly worth a lot more than the bids we were getting for him. So like I said, we are starting to play a little bit more hardball with some of these players and being like, no, if they're, it's got to be really, really good for us to consider selling you, basically. So under no illusions, obviously this is going to be a ridiculously hard game. Sam Torrance playing up top for them. Sam Torrance is in Red Rum, shining Sam Torrance. Oh God, we're screwed. He's going to see it coming, isn't he? Matty's Tell up front for them as well. How old's he now? I don't think they're playing. I don't even know if Valdez is registered actually for them. Hunt. I like it, Hunt. Just take him out. Take him out. Is Valdez on the bench? He's not even on the bench, bless him. The disrespect. He would have been able to have been registered as well, because the new registration window opens. Yeah, before the last two games. The Zere Due playing at right back. What is this? What is this system? Tuchin's on big money now as well. I say big money for us. He's on about 46k a week. He only had a year left on his deal and was getting towards sort of being even less. And there was a couple of Saudi clubs interested in for him, and yeah, like I said, he wanted like 56, 57 grand a week, and I was like, I can't afford that. I mean, I probably could, but I didn't want to like completely upset my wage structure. So we waited a few weeks, went back in. We managed to get him down to 45 or 44, so still a decent amount, but a lot less than he wanted initially. Why is Matthew's Tell not being properly marked? Let's get on Jose Lasso, Ted Lasso. The Zere Due, how old is he now? 34. Still unbelievable. No, he can't play right back. I was thinking, but that's really bold. Jose Antonio, we could certainly press him. And Danny Quinn should really be looking to put the pressure on him, especially since he can't really dribble. See if we can get him sent off. So yeah, with some of the signings we made and being slightly better quality, it has seen us change some of the roles. So Vlad Paul actually is a 4-star, what a save from Shiapara, 4-star complete forward. So we're actually just trying playing him as that and seeing how he does. And so far, it's been fantastic. Some of the goals he scored have been absolutely top draw. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Goal he scored against Leon, one of the goals he scored against Poznan were just incredible. Let's see what these results are meaning for Braithwaite. So they are actually at the moment scraping through in 24th. And yeah, we will be very, very happy with that. If obviously if that stays the way it is. Yeah, that would be incredible if they went through. So that's because Monaco are losing to Maribor. And hopefully they won't suffer if that changes. So it might be that Maribor have leapfrogged them. So it might be that if Monaco pull one back, Maribor will drop down potentially. Let's see if that is something that will happen. No, because Maribor is still way down there. So we need who realistically are the threats here to Braithwaite? It's Monaco, in it really. Monaco is the main one, and that is it. Al Salami scoring 2 goals for Milan against Zagreb. It's just Monaco. I think it is literally just Monaco who are the threat. Oh, and Fiorentina. If Bayern aren't going to pull that back, 2-0 down to 10 men, and we've just conceded as well. Sorry, I can get me words out. That's a brilliant header, but it shouldn't have been allowed to happen. This game really, for us, it's very much secondary to the overarching narrative around Braithwaite, to be honest with you. If we can get some sort of result, great. I want to stay in this top half, if we can. We've got plenty of options that we can look to bring on from the bench to influence the game. Ribeiro is not having a great game. So, you know, that's certainly an option we can look to change. Ribeiro is a good wing back, but he would potentially he's actually really solid defensively as well. So he could see us switch to him playing as a inverted fullback as well, which would further sort of facilitate that transition that we're looking at in play style going forward. Any changes in the Monaco game? They are 1-1, and we are now losing 2-0. Monaco drawing. It's going to see Braither drop down on 9 points out of the Champions League, which is really unfortunate. Come on, Maribor, do us a solid. And it's Jose Antonio, by the way, again. Looks like he scored another set-piece goal. I know we missed it completely. The Braither drama, the Braither game is dominating here, really. That literally looked like it went over the line. To concede 2 set-piece goals is galling, really. Was it him attacking the near post again? It comes in from Torrance, and it's like, oh, that's quite a nicely worked corner, to be fair, but it's very frustrating to concede it still. But it was quite nicely worked. Right, I think I'm going to look at making some changes in general. We're going to start going a little bit more direct for a start. We'll make some subs. Ribeiro will come off. Wallen will come off. Blackpool potentially could come off. Back at Hansen's. To be fair, we could actually make wholesale changes. Really, we won't. But there's definitely this. I'm literally about to take him off, and he's about to get sent off. I was literally about to sub him. I was just waiting for those changes to go through. Right, Hunt can come off because he's not playing particularly well. In fact, we'll do that. We'll bring on Bendixson for Lerva. We'll take off... Probably take off Spasiewicz for Osorio. I'm going to bring him to Fedzic just because I want him to sort of feel like he's getting game time. And you know what? I think I may end up making all the changes anyway. I'm going to bring on Swaj or Blackpool. That's really annoying. I mean, he was going to miss the next game anyway because of suspension, but it's just annoying that he's now gone and got himself sent off in this match. Tell you what, if Braither miss out on 9 points, I'll be gutted for them because that's really unlucky. You'd think getting 9 points would be enough. You know, 8+1 is the general kind of rule of thumb, really. But it looks like that's gonna do him. Come on. There's no one who can bail him out, really. It's Maribor or no one. Because Bayern Munich aren't going to turn that round. So it's Maribor. Maribor needs to bail him out. See, so Kim Bendixson is moaning that he's not getting the game time in accordance with his squad status. Now, we think he's a high potential player. We want to keep him happy. We want to keep him here. But when he goes and does stuff like that, gives the ball away, no wonder we get annoyed. Like, no wonder he's not playing in, like, big games. And he's just a bit part player and he plays in the league when he can afford to make mistakes. Means we defended that corner a bit better. But yeah, it's just very frustrating when he's goes and does stuff like that. We're in a decent position, he gives the ball away. And yeah. And then he has the audacity to moan that he doesn't play enough. But this one, Torrance was offside then. That was very, very suspicious to me. Let me see what's going on in this Maribor game. It's just not showing us the Maribor Monaco results at the moment. We are due to go up to 15th. It's very annoying that we're not seeing that. I feel so bad for them, man. They're just missing out on, like, it would have been incredible for them if they'd have gone through. That Antonio, why is he getting so much time? And he's just popping shots off around the edge of the box. Oh, they pushed him up into midfield. So is he playing as a volante now? Are they actually playing him as a volante? He's playing as an anchor, but he's getting right up there in our area. Annoying that they just stopped showing us the Maribor score. Yes, well then, Patrick. Suarez finished on something like 36 goals last season. It's been absolutely another absolute stormer. He's now 31, 32, absolute club legend. Ah, you've been done there. Come on, Osorio. Good block. I mean, to concede 2 set-piece goals and then go down to 10 men and up to now keep it quite tight isn't terrible. I mean, conceding 2 set-piece goals is very frustrating, but the fact that it's taken 2 set pieces for them to put the ball in our net. Oh, Monaco are winning 4-1, so we finally get the update, so that's definitely not happening. Unless late drama at Fiorentina, potentially. If Bayern pull level against Fiorentina, then that will send them through. Jeez. Come on, Bayern. Literally, it's Bayern Munich that we need now to come through. And it's 2-0 here. Oh, and it is heartbreak, man. They finished on 9 points and they still didn't go through. Absolutely gutting for them. Gutting. But then again, I suppose, you know, shipping 5 goals to United is never going to help. If they'd have kept it a respectable 2, for example, then they might have been alright, but I am gutted for them. Meanwhile, HK lost away, wasn't it? Away at Nice, but they still finished 15th, so they still basically get the favourable side of the draw, really. As long as they can avoid teams like Sevilla, actually maybe just teams like Sevilla, even if they lost to them at this, like, you know, in the league phase. But I reckon they can take any one of those other teams. They've shown so far that they can do. Obviously, Partizan they beat, AK they beat last year 8-2 on aggregate, or 7-2, or 8-3 or something. They smashed them anyway. Nice to see that our on loan central midfielder is top scorer in the Europa League as well. Absolutely smashing it for HK, as is Daniel Björnsson as well. Now it is time for the draw, and because we did finish in the top half, we do actually count as a seeded team. So we are going to be looking at playing Anderlecht, Leverkusen, Benfica, Fiorentina, Villarreal, Valencia, Monaco, or Milan. Anderlecht we've beaten. I reckon we could potentially take, I don't know, maybe Fiorentina. I don't know. I'm not sure. Monaco we have beaten before, I think, but that's Monaco v PSG. Blimey, this is going to be us now. No, Portugal, Benfica and Porto. This might be us. No, Bayern Munich against Valencia. Anderlecht, come on, boys. No, okay, Marseille. I don't want Milan. Oh, of course, it's Milan. I mean, admittedly, played 2, won 1, lost 1, but not what we wanted. Well, our plan really now is to obviously prepare for that online game, but actually try and start preparing the squad, and potentially going to look at trying to buy this guy Milan Hambalek, because decent looking winger, semi-decent agility, potentially able to get him. We just had a bid accepted for 5 mil in total for him. Could be better, but we've not really got any wingers in the squad at the moment. And we are obviously looking to eventually probably transition to maybe something like looks a little bit like this. Now, we have found a Segundo Volante who we really like to look off, but he's just got no interest at the moment. But this might well be what we look to do, as we touched on before. So he would fit in quite nicely, that Hambalek onto that left-hand side, with Vlad Paul playing through the middle. We've got another number 10 coming in, and then we will be looking to try and find someone potentially to play as like an advanced playmaker on this right-hand side, maybe, just sort of supporting these runners as they come through. Patrick Wallen, while he's good, he is 30 now. Suarez is 31. We do need to start planning for life without them. And we have got another striker joining, and we'll touch on the future signings just in a second as well. But potentially, that Hambalek would allow us to start transitioning to this. The problem is we got a decent chunk of money this year, transfer-wise. We've got about 7 mil left to spend, but I can't transition the squad in one season. It's going to take a while. Defensively, I think we're pretty much sorted, to be honest with you. Like I said, Ribeiro can play as an inverted fullback if needed, or it might be that we do stick him back onto a wing-back role here, potentially. But Bakker Hansen, he has been training as a libero. He's still not quite there yet, but he has been training as it. So hopefully a bit of game time in the league will allow him to develop into that player, especially more the dribbling side of things, really. The 442 Diamond is working for us okay, but I definitely feel like there's scope for it to be better. But the other striker who is joining is Fernando Gutierrez, someone who we have been had an eye on for a while. Let's say maybe about 12 months. And I love his finishing. I love his composure. His concentration and his jumping reach is a bit of a low, really. But you know what? If we're potentially going to be playing him as an advanced forward, hopefully that concentration is not going to be too much of a drawback. But yeah, with his pace and his sort of acceleration, his agility, his balance, and his finishing, I think he'd be an absolute lethal forward. But we'll just have to see how he comes. But hopefully, at the worst, we'll be able to sell him on if we can get him to shine in the Champions League, much like we did with Rodriguez, Vasquez, and with Valdez. But I think the main signing, which could hopefully see us sort of move forward a level, is going to be Evan Villome, who's coming in from Caen out in France. Hopefully, going to be our new number 10. Like I said, Umbala has been found wanting for a lot of time this season. Well, certainly in the big games. And I'm hoping that Villome will come in, develop into that number 10 that we want. Rinaldi is decent, but he's not number 10, really. I think he doesn't have that sort of X factor, I think, which makes him a number 10. He's definitely more of like a number 8. Then a lot of the other players were joining a loan farm players, kind of like this guy, Tobias Ramsvik, but a model citizen as well. He seemed a really good option to bring in, especially at the age of 18. And with that personality, I'm hoping he's going to develop into a real superstar for us, hopefully at the back, potentially. There's interesting players like Bakker Hansen, so it might well be that he eventually comes in and sort of takes over from there. But hopefully he'll have the ability to really sort of kick on. Then we've got a few other players joining, but most of them are just loan farm players like Rolf and Fosmo. Hopefully someone who got scope to develop, but will come in, hopefully go out into the loan farm, do well, develop, sell, potentially. Martinho Sana, another one, coming in at a really young age of 16. Marco Leto coming in really, really cheap from Ilves out in Finland. Really good finishing. I think he's just going to hopefully be a decent lower half of the table loan farm player. Aslak Knutsen and Silas Lundgaard are coming in with a view to eventually be loan farm players. Lundgaard we should be able to get out straight away, but Knutsen will probably have to wait for. Same with Tijan Costa and Marco Oliveira. Yeah, all youngsters who are getting in nice and early to develop them, and hopefully they can go out. Magnus Smelis Jarl will be initially a loan farm player, but who knows, might turn into a really good option for us going forward on that right-hand side. And Augusto Alfredo, again, is going to be someone we're going to bring him in, develop him, and then loan him out. Now, this would be a move that I would actually be quite happy to make, potentially, would be if HK wanted to bid 4.1 mil for Tufecic. I would be more than happy to do that. But equally, he's probably someone I'd actually look to loan out to them, really, just to save them having to spend that money. I'd rather them just go out on loan there and just develop there, and he'll be really, really good for them as well. He'll definitely bump that level for them. But yeah, Hamberleck is in. He's going to be joining in February, so I'm going to have to start I'm already now trying to find that right AP. Now, someone who is being scouted as part of that recruitment focus is Mile Milosavljevic. Now, he definitely is not someone who can play that right AP role effectively, I don't think, with that passing, but he is available for loan, so it might be that we potentially look to bring him in and sort of trial it out with him. And I just checked that was not something we would be able to do because they would want too much in terms of contribution for loan fees. I don't get me wrong, I'm not wed to the AP on that right-hand side, but it's something that I think is probably going to work best for that system. Now, could we potentially retrain Umbala at that right-hand side? I mean, his time is going to be coming up soon. Big matches and consistency are issues for us, and certainly explains why he is, going missing in like the Champions League of late. So it is probably going to be that we do look to sell him on, but it might just be that for now we potentially look to develop him into that right-sided advanced playmaker and kind of use it as a trial to see if it's something that would potentially work for us. So yeah, we'll put him on support for the time being, or we want him just to go straight into attack. Yeah, maybe just go straight into attack, to be fair, and let's see if he can do that for us. And it might be that we do just start trying it out. Well, HK will be playing off against Salzburg in the Europa League knockout. Now, they did beat them earlier on in the Europa League, didn't they? As we saw, what was it? 2-0, so hopefully they can do the same thing, and that was away from home as well, so hopefully they can do that. We haven't got the Hafnarfjordur draw yet because Jammy Sods obviously, don't have to play out a knockout round. They're going straight through to the round of 16. Last little bit of housekeeping. So the other team who we are hoping are going to make steps towards pro soon is Akranis. They will be going in at the Conference League after coming 5th last year, so they're going to have a few games to go through, but hopefully if they can turn that semi-pro status into professional, we'll start seeing them making a few more gains as well. So, I mean, thankfully the recruitment focuses, they're not always the best, but they are potentially going to find us a few players here. But we have actually made a couple of little bids for some players who we hope might be able to do that job. One of them is Alexandro, coming in, hopefully from Paranench, coming in on a loan bid with an option to buy. Young 17-year-old, not perfect, but I'm hoping that we can develop him. He's already got the passing, which hopefully will set him in good stead to play as more of an advanced playmaker on that side. He can still cross, he can still dribble. Don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting him to, stop being a winger, but I'm hoping that we can train him into being someone who can be a bit more of a playmaker rather than someone who's just going to bomb to the byline all the time. He can sort of play passes out wide, from out wide and, feed them into the middle. So yeah, maybe finally starting to take shape. So with that, we're going to leave you, and I'll see you for the second leg of the Milan game, where, who knows, the squad might look a little bit more, have a slightly different shape and appearance to it in general, but obviously, in terms of Champions League, we're going to still be running the 4-4-2 diamond because we can't change anything else. You can't register anyone else now that the window's closed, so any players who join are not going to be eligible to play until a lot later. So yeah, the squad is going to start taking shape hopefully over this season. Like I said, it's probably going to take us a few more windows. We've started making some changes which will hopefully benefit us, but yeah, it's not going to happen overnight, and some players are going to have to leave to make it happen, but people are going to start getting annoyed. So, but yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye for now.